To learn about the off-grid lifestyle and to be inspired to live your dreams, click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Hit the bell notification. So once again, I'm down at the city park, cutting down this big old monster tree. Got another truckload. I think this is the fifth load I got, fifth or sixth, I don't know. I've lost count. This tree is gonna make 2 or 3 cords of wood. I think I already got over a cord. I think I measured over a cord of it just out of the 4 or 5 loads that I've gotten. I come down every 3 days. Not the last time I was here, but the time before. I had a guy come over and just really give it to me. Well, today I had another run-in with him, not him specifically, but I'll get into that a bit later. Right now I want to talk to you about the history of this tree, how I got to this point, and what I'm going to do in the future, because I'm starting to get a little concerned. So back in July, I think, I saw this tree. It's in the city park of the town that's down from us. I mean, we live outside of town. This is about 3 or 4 miles away from us. And I was driving through here, and Carolyn saw it, actually. I did several things to try to see if I could get this tree. You can tell it's pretty fresh still. The leaves are still on it. Of course, they're dead, but it hasn't been down terribly long. But this town is an unincorporated town. They voted to unincorporate it, I think in 2015. I called the county to see if I could have this tree, and the county says, well, we're not responsible for that park. Finally, she said, just go ahead and tell them the county told you you could have it. And I said, do you have the authority to tell me that? And she said, well, no, of course not. And I thought, well, I'm not going to do that. So the folks that actually live in this town take care of the city park. They cut the grass. I mean, nobody's getting paid to do it, but they cut the grass. They keep the pavilion up. It's actually a pretty nice park. It's huge. The equipment's old, but very nice. I asked the guy who cut the grass, I said, do you know if anybody wants to get that tree, or can I get that tree? He said, yeah, sure, go ahead. He said, if I was younger, I'd get it. And then there was a lady at the gas station who treats us very nice. She's just so nice to us. I don't even know her name. And she said she's lived here all her life. I guess she even went to school when she was a kid. Her parents live in this area. She says, yeah, my husband used to take care of this park a few years ago, but he hurt his shoulder, so he can't do it anymore. Otherwise, he would cut the firewood up. So she said, please take the firewood. It would do us a big favor, keep the place looking nice. I felt like I had done due diligence to try to get the permission to cut the tree. I think I did 3 loads. A guy came up and just gave me the business. So for now, I've just been cutting up the smaller limbs. You know, this is as far as I would get with it before I decided, okay, I'm going to move on to another limb. And the reason is I have 2 chainsaws. I got a 14-inch chainsaw here, and it does really good on these smaller limbs here. You know, even this size, you know, anything under 14 inches, it does really well. And so I've been running it primarily. Now I have an older chainsaw right here. I've had it for 20 years. I haven't used it much, 3 or 4 times in the 20 years I've had it. But it's showing its age. You know, it's had some mechanical issues already. And so what I was going to do was clean up all the branches with the little saw, and then I was going to get into the bigger branches, the bigger things, with the bigger saw. Now, to give you a little history on the saws, I bought the smaller saw, I think back in May or June. Now, the older saw, like I said, I've had it for years, like 2001 or 2002. And I've stored it at my mom's house for a good while. I mean, I've taken care of it. If I run it, I take the gas out of it and make sure it's not rusting. And so, but I had to go get that. And it took me a while to go get it. I think I got it mid-July. So, you know, I've been letting this tree sit here. No big hurry. Waiting for it to cool off because July was just too hot to cut. And then when I got the chainsaw back, it had a degraded, I guess is the best way to put it, fuel line. Been sitting around so long, it just degraded. And so I had to replace the fuel line. And, you know, that's what I'm doing. I'm just preparing and waiting and making sure that nobody else wanted it. Well, then I decided, okay, well, we'll come down here and I'll cut it every 3 days. That way, if anybody else wants it, they have an opportunity to come get it. And so today, I actually got a chance to use the 18-inch chainsaw. I know you saw me cut this big guy down here, this huge one. This thing is big as a tree. It's a good 30 feet tall. It's a 17 or 18 inches in diameter. And so what I did was I wedged it like you would a tree, because this one scared me the most. I was really worried about that limb. It was too high up in the air for me to get, you know, just to cut it off in sections. So I went down to the base and I cut it down like you would cut down a tree. I wedged the front and it came down to the front, the backside. And so you see this hinge here, right there. What that hinge does is it slows down the descent. So came up underneath, wedged it, started to come down. As it started to snap, crackle, and pop, I was able to get away from it. My fear was it would roll, and it did. It would roll over on top of me. So I had to be really careful that when I heard it popping, that I would get away from it. So just like a regular tree, that's why you do the wedge, so it will just slowly fall down so you can get away from it. It also creates direction, a whole bunch of different other things, but that's the primary reason to do it. Well, as I'm cutting it, this lady comes up. I'm actually got the wedge almost completely done. And she comes up and I said, "Lady, this isn't safe right now." "Yes, I know, but I need to talk to you." So I shut off the chainsaw. Now, I'm a little bit worried that the thing's gonna fall or break or do something silly, so I'm trying to get her to back up and get away from it. And I said, "This limb could go any minute now." She says, "I thought my husband talked to you the other day." I said, "Well, yeah, I got cussed out, if that's what you mean." "Well, yeah, I know he's a little mean sometimes, but he tried to explain to you that he wanted to get this tree." And I said, "Yeah, I know that." And I told him what I would do. As a matter of fact, what I did was I was coming down here every 3 days to get a truckload. I've been getting a truckload every 3 days. And I told him I would skip 3 days and I would wait 6 days. So I came down 6 days later. Well, nobody had touched it. So I went ahead and got my truckload. And then I came down 3 days, which is today, and got another truckload. "But don't you understand? We need this tree. We got to have it for this winter." I said, "I'm sure you do. And I'm not trying to hog it. That's why I'm going slow. If I was trying to hog it, I would get it as fast as I can. But I've been really taking my time with this, so anybody that wants it can have it. I want to share it." "Well, you need to stop. You just need to stop." She said, "Get your truckload today and just stop. That's enough. You've gotten plenty." She says, "You're getting into the thicker wood here, and my husband can't do that. He's getting too old to do that. And he tried to get some guy up the hill to do it, and he won't do it, I guess. And we need to get a chain for our chainsaw." And she says, "And it's an electric chainsaw. So it's harder to find parts." I don't even know if she knows what she's talking about. I'm thinking, my goodness, you're going to try to cut this with an electric chainsaw? Wow. It's becoming a real conflict, and I don't want to stir up the neighbors. You know, if this was a bigger area, I might say, you know what, I've done everything I can to make sure everybody gets a piece of this. But it's not. It's a really small town. First of all, I don't want to cause any problems, because if I start to cause problems and I make somebody mad, what if they start calling the authorities on me all the time? You know, "Oh, he's building a house, you know, he's doing this, he's doing that, he's calling." And I just don't want the authorities around. The whole point of me living off-grid was to get away from all that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop. Now we're getting into the bigger pieces. I would like to have gotten these few little branches here. There's just a few left. I would like to have gotten those, but I'm going to stop. Now that we're into the bigger pieces, a regular size chainsaw still can cut, you know, 18-inch chainsaw can still cut back up to this trunk here, right at this wedge, I would think. Right about there. So he should be able to get whatever he wants. The thing is I'd bet they won't come and get it. If it's still here in January or February, I'm going to come back down and get it because they said they needed it for this winter. Well, if they need it for this winter, winter's almost here. It's September. You need to start doing it now. If you're going to live off grid, you don't have backup options. You have one option, wood heat. I mean, we can run propane, don't get me wrong. But if you want to really live off grid, wood heat is our option. And so you got to make sure that you're ready for winter. That doesn't mean cut in September and burn in October. You know, the tree's still pretty wet. When we split it, you can see water still squeezing out of it. You need to prepare a year in advance. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to prepare for next year. I knew, like, for example, my chainsaw needed repaired and I needed to go get it. So in July, the hottest part of the year, is when I decided to do all the things to get ready for wood cutting season. So I hope I can inspire you to think ahead and get things done and prepare for your off-grid lifestyle. Thanks for watching.